with the new direction that Assistantly is heading. I mean, as a lot of people know, with Assistantly, we've been in the offshore staffing game for a long time. And it's kind of just like going through the industry and understanding like what works, what doesn't work. When Assistantly was first started, we just did like real estate virtual assistants. Then we got, everybody was really interested in hiring offshore. So then that like kind of broadened the client base to tech and law and finance. So that kind of opened the floodgates for different positions. So like I think where Assistantly is at right now is we focus in like 4 to 5 different areas. There's admin, there's operations, there's marketing, there's client success, and then there's like the finance part to it. And what we offer, whether they're like entry or senior level, is essentially what we like offer our clients. Whether they're like an admin assistant or an executive assistant, we say director of operations or operations manager. And what I've noticed is when we offer these like super high level positions, it bites us in the foot, as you've probably seen. So instead of like offering those like manager, director type of level positions, so then like what I essentially wanted to do was scale back from like the manager, director level positions and like really focus on assistants. I know that that's kind of like what we've talked about and what you've seen with the client positions and like what's coming in is like those like director of operations, operations manager roles. It's like they want like everything in the kitchen sink.
Yeah. So what I've seen the challenge, it seems as though the people that are looking for the director level, the person to come in and essentially run their business for them, the issue is that when it's not ran the way that they want it to, and this individual comes in and they can't read their brain, and so it is not aligned. Like it's so challenging to align on exactly what the initiative is and the goal is, and that's where the biggest challenge has been. And so I've noticed that when we bring in support that has that directional go-to, that they can collaborate with and execute on these goals that are set for them, there's so much success. And I almost feel like it allows for the VA to shine in their talents and their strengths, and they're surpassing the expectations as opposed to being held to such high expectations that are almost impossible to have an understanding of and to accomplish unless you know everything about the business.
Yeah, I think they're just more like when you hire an assistant and you have like a direct report, it's just more organized when it comes down to like system, structure, direction, what they want them to do. Or when someone is just like their own frontline and like they hire like a director of operations, they're essentially wanting somebody to like build everything from scratch. But if it's like not the exact way they want it, then they get all like pissed off and frustrated. So like I think that's why like going the assistant route, it's also in our name, assistantly, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
But like going the assistant route just like makes it easier because now we can message and now we can tell our clients like we find really high level assistants that can really help you support and assist, whether it's marketing or admin or operations or whatever it may be. Because like, even if you think about like some of our bigger accounts, like, their real estate client, they have like people in marketing and they have people in finance, but they have like a marketing head, they have like a finance head, and they hire like assistants underneath to like assist on like whether they're like the, B, C level types of tasks. So like that way this A level person can focus on the high performing things in their business. We see it with like a big tech company. They have like, partner support and client support, but then they hire people that can handle like tier 1, tier 2, but like they have a team that hires tier 3 and tier 4. It just like makes the most sense for like scalability, affordability. And I think it like relieves pressure off like the assistants because now they can like mold into like what the like client wants, and like there's more of like a growth trajectory.
Yeah, and too, I think in terms of molding, I think it allows them to have exposure into the business and understand the culture and the working styles and just how the company operates. And they absolutely can grow into that higher level position, but entering a company that you don't know much about apart from what you learned in the interview, and being expected to consult when you're not a consultant is not effective and not productive. And so I think this is a really good route.
Yeah, and it's going to be launched hopefully soon. Like goal I think is by like September with like the new messaging, and like the way the process is going to work is pretty similar. But like I think the whole idea is because so many people need assistance nowadays. It's like I almost want people to build it from scratch. And I know like I talked to you guys about like the Chipotle and Kava and the sweet green style of like step 1, step 2, step 3, like pick your base, pick your protein. Very different, that's food. But when we talk about people, it's like, pick what option, part-time, 30-hour, full-time. Pick like the specialty. Are they gonna be like admin, marketing, ops, finance, client success? And then it goes into like, pick your industry. Are you real estate, tech, finance? And then number 4 is pick like, what are like the top 3 to 5 responsibilities? Is it email calendar management? Is it social media? Is it video editing? Is it bookkeeping? Like there's like obviously different roles and tasks when you pick that specialty of like admin, ops, marketing. And then the last one is like a really important one, or like what are like the 5 most important traits? And like we actually make that like where the client has to select it, because like based off what Joyce created, like we're able to study like what are the 13 highest performing traits that you want in an assistant or a team member, whether that's like proactive or like strong communicator or something like that gets shit done, and like they can pick their top 5. So like based off all that information from step 1 to step 5, like we can build the perfect custom assistant for what they need, and it makes it like super easy and seamless. And like when we go headhunt for these positions, like we know exactly what to look for. So excited to make it more like custom for our clients, but like make it like just a lot simpler. So like it's gonna be fun. Like I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really great, and it's been nice to see the evolution coming into Assistantly of how the offering was structured and how now it's going to change, and on the back end how all of our systems have kind of evolved with it. And as we're updating certain things on the onboarding stage and onward, and I think that it really helps a lot of our clients feel supported and not just get the support through the VA or through their assistant, but also just knowing what's going on and how the direction is going to be steered. So many of our clients come to us and they say, I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what to do, which questions to ask. I don't know what I need. And being able to, take this information and tell them, this is what we consult, like this is what we think that you need, and just provide that level of service and solution for them is so great. So I'm excited to watch it evolve.
Yeah, no, it's going to be obviously it's going to be different, but like different in a good way. It's simpler, it's faster, it's more effective. We're not going to be able to tap into like a greater pool of talent in both Philippines and Latin America. So obviously, like you dealing with both prospects and clients when they hire, what do you currently see most clients hiring for?
This is I have 2 answers to this. One being a lot of clients, specifically in the real estate industry, are hiring for marketing. Like everybody is looking for marketing help right now because they all are working on the back end of their business as the real estate industry is slowing down, not as many homes on the market, not as much activity and movement. And so they're focusing on, their lead gen and their like client facing tasks, whereas like they don't want anything to do with marketing. And so
Totally.
I'm seeing a lot of marketing. And then there's one, role that I think we're going to see a huge influx of just, demand for. And I think realtors are really going to start coming to us needing bookkeepers. And reason being is, especially with new realtors.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with a client recently who explained that, when he first started real estate, he had no idea how to keep track of, because he was a 20-year pharmacist and he came into real estate, didn't understand what the process was like of even just owning a business financially. So learning how to do that, learning how to properly file taxes, how to expense everything. And in real estate, there's so much to pay attention to.
Yeah, yeah.
And in order to effectively scale in real estate, you have to reinvest what you make. Starting out, it's just the way that it works. And if you're not reinvesting properly and you're not being strategic about it and you're not, expensing and filing your taxes properly, you're going to be
Screwed.
effed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that position is something that a lot of realtors are going to start coming to us for and have already started coming to us for. So I'm excited to, just learn more about what will help them and the way that all of that works and platforms they can use and just provide more resources there.
Yeah, no, I didn't know bookkeeping was one of the things that you've been, getting hit with. Obviously, I see marketing quite a bit because, what I typically see is I see, obviously a high need for executive assistants, right? People need help with, both their business and professional life, which we've talked about before. And then there's, the marketing assistant component to it with, social media, video editing, collateral development. And then obviously there's the client success part, but then you say bookkeeping, which we obviously had a couple clients come in recently for bookkeeping and needing that. I just didn't know real estate and bookkeeping, those two is an interesting one. But also obviously a huge opportunity. But those are perfect positions, especially with our new direction to hire for, because they can assist with those types of things in an easy, and they know how to do it. They just need to obviously understand your business a little bit. But that's interesting, yeah. And I think as we go, even video editor is another big one, or YouTube, somebody assisting with their YouTube channel. As people move to video, which is what we're doing now,
Yeah.
you're going to need some sort of assistance with editing it. Obviously, there's the filming, portion of it, but editing the video, and then the distribution of the videos of posting on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, whatever it may be. People don't have covered because all they want to do essentially is show up. They want to film and they go, oh my God, now I got to edit it. Now I got to do a Canva graphic to it or a thumbnail. Now I got to post it on my YouTube. Now I got to post a description for it. And when you think of that process, it's super overwhelming, then nobody does it. So that's where I see obviously a huge opportunity too is the video editing component to it, the executive assistant, the marketing component to it. So it's fun to keep seeing how it all evolves.
Yeah, and YouTube managers.
Yeah,
That's
YouTube. Yeah,
massive.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't realize
cool.
that there was such a specific niche and just demand for a YouTube manager that's going to go in, distribute the video properly, optimize the SEO, make sure the thumbnail is catchy enough, analyze all these, metrics that are so important for growth on YouTube. And it's just becoming such a thing, and I didn't even realize that this was a job.
Yeah, no, it's
crazy.
it's YouTube and YouTube only. And
Yeah.
that's something probably to explore when we do our newer messaging is yes, there's specific vertical, specific responsibilities, but I wonder if we also even get even more specific with YouTube assistant, right? Or just more Asana assistant, Trello assistant, just more specific on the software. Yeah, it's fun to see that because people they want specialists. All right. Cool. Let's talk about fractional people. So we talked about assistants, and then we talked about there's the assistants, the high-level executives and strategists, and there's the managers. And what we're saying is we're going to focus on the assistants with hopes that obviously people have managers and structures in place. But there's also those strategists that are the question mark. And one thing that we've always used that assistantly and that I've been a huge advocate for is hiring people fractionally. One, because I think there's no better way to see how you work with someone by hiring them fractionally for 10, 15, 20 hours a week, whatever that looks like, and seeing if it's a personality culture fit, if they actually perform and execute, if you actually see the value. And that person can be one, turn from fractional to full-time in the future, or two, obviously just kept at fractional. And the main advantages of fractional, besides obviously just kind of seeing how you work together, is you really don't need certain types of positions full-time. I think you just don't. Obviously we have ops and a PM in fractional, a fractional place right now. And our ops gal is like amazing,
Best.
like the best, but like we like having her fractional just to like build systems, processes, our sauna, Airtable, whatever it may be, is like it just works really, really well. And it's like easier for our team to use, and it's like more deliverable based type of thing, like where like I just need strategy and execution, and I don't need it like 9 to 6 every day.
Yeah.
We just need it like, here's our top priority list, and like let's just get it done. And like hiring people fractionally like obviously allows us to do that. And then obviously there's the affordability factor.
Yeah.
Like it is like, if you hire a director of operations, for example, or like a COO, like you're talking about like 150 plus US salary, plus benefits, plus, like health and payroll taxes and all that
Workers'
jazz.
comp, yeah.
Workers' comp. So like it's super expensive, and like not every company has that like budget to just go like fork out for a high level position like that. And like what I've seen, not to discredit full-time people, but like, full-time people in those positions, but like what I've seen is you could probably get the same, almost the same productivity from fractional people at like a fraction of the price. And like the working relationships are just a little bit easier. So like part 2 of Assistantly, besides assistants, is like having these high-level fractional consultants to like come in and provide like ops infrastructure, if it's operations, if it's marketing, it's like providing brand strategy and like a roadmap. And obviously it's a complement, because when somebody builds, you need assistants to kind of be plugged in, so like it actually functions. So just wanted to talk about that, because like I obviously, like you've seen us work with fractional people before, and like the experience, like they're still included in the team. It's very team oriented, like they still deliver, but it's like it works best for our business model, and it's like we don't need somebody full time.
Yeah, I think fractional positions also just provide an environment of so much growth opportunity, and it serves the companies that are either restructuring, needing to scale down their teams, needing to scale down budget-wise, or wanting to build out entirely new departments, and they don't know what that's going to look like, and how the success will be if they hire somebody full-time. It's a huge cost, and so
And risk.
yeah, low risk, high reward, low budget, high productivity. I mean, it's great.
We should still, I need to write those words down.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just watch on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I've seen so much success in the fractional positions that we have hired for, and it's so cool to just check up on them and see how things are going and see how things evolve. And it really is to those specialists with specific platforms or specific tools or departments. And I'm excited to see, which companies are going to need them in the future.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's like more part 2. So,
yeah,
it's going to be part of our roadmap, not there yet, but something that I'm definitely excited for, as I see like a huge need in business for it. So we developed something named Alfred. I'm a big fan of Batman, so that's where the name came from. I remember when I said Alfred, you're like, oh, Batman, and I was like, yes, perfect. But like essentially, Alfred was developed for more of like an internal problem, where like obviously we get so many different client requirements and we get so many different candidates, and it's like, how can we make sure that they're compatible? And of course, like you could look at like a resume or like a video resume and like try to assume that they're compatible, and like then they do an interview session, and again we could try to assume that they're compatible, but there's not really like a like an assessment or like a system that can like give us data on like if they are compatible. And essentially what we did with Alfred was we created Alfred to like give us a personality, personality and culture and experience fit for the clients. So like what we pretty much do is like we have all this information on the candidates, like their whole profile, their video resume, their resume. We have all this information on the client, and we put it into Alfred, and like in like 2 minutes, we're trying to get that down, but like in 2 minutes or less, you could essentially get a compatibility score. It talks about like, okay, here's the client, here's their requirement, here's what they're looking for as far as skills and responsibilities. And then right underneath it says, here's Kate, here's Jackie, here's Johnny, here's their skills, here's their strengths, here's their weaknesses, here's their personality, avatar. And based off what the client wants and who this candidate is, they have a 89.7% matching, which is really cool for us to see because it helps us make decisions. I typically look for people that are like 87% and higher. And it's like obviously not like the ultimate decision, but it helps us guide our decision-making process when like, endorsing candidates to clients. But like, it's just a cool thing that we built to solve more of an internal problem. I know I was showing you before we got on this video call, but it's like, you just like put these couple things in and then it just spits like this crazy amount of information.
Yeah, it looks so cool. And I'm excited to see how this evolves because I think this will allow us to forecast the challenges that
Yeah.
the client and the talent may face together and how we can best, approach and tackle these challenges. And just going into any working relationship knowing that is so helpful. So
Yeah, I think
stay tuned.
Yeah, I think like it leads to like higher talent quality endorsed, and I think it leads to hopefully fewer replacements needed, and just more of a match, like personally culture, like a personal culture and experience fit for what the client needs. So it's not like square peg round hole; it's just like more custom fit. So I know I showed you. That still hasn't really been rolled out to our team yet, which it will be. But like it's something that's just fun that we're always like looking to innovate and like create stuff just to solve like internal problems before we like roll them out to like clients and stuff.
Let's go.